Okay, now the point is, when it comes to the user interface, we are uploading it from the front end form, right? So there we want to first handle the error. Okay, so we want to first check if there is any error in the CSV file. Then we just want to show him an error. Okay, if there is no error, then go ahead and call the Celery task. Okay, so the right approach to do this is to first check for the potential errors before we hand over the task to the Celery. But how to do that? If you have a closer look at the import data.py, okay, so in this import data command, two things are going on here. Okay, first we are checking whether the CSV header is matching with the table name or not. And second, if there is no error, then we are importing the data using this for loop. Okay, so two things. All right, so first we are checking if the CSV header is matching with the table fields, and if there is no error, we are just looping through the data and creating the data in the database. Okay, so it is just the importing data. Okay, now we want to refactor this code in such a way that the same code must work while running the custom command from the terminal, as well as it should also run from the import data view or the form. Okay, so that is the reason I'm going to start refactoring this code and divide this code into two parts. Okay, one part of it will handle the error and another part will import the data into the table. Okay, so to handle the error, we will create a helper function. Okay, so what is helper function? So if you look at this utils.py, I think we have created utils.py, right? Somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere here. Yeah, here you can see utils.py we have created to get all the custom models. So these functions are called the helper functions. Okay, so we can call these functions anywhere in our project. Okay, so that's why we'll create one helper function that will check for the error. Okay, so if there is no error, then we will trigger the call command. Okay, so let's actually go to utils.py, which is inside the data entry.py. Okay, so here we'll actually create the function, which is the helper function, create a define check underscore CSV errors. Okay, first we'll create a custom helper function. So this will actually take a file path. Okay, because in order to check whether there is an error, then we need the file path, also model name, model underscore name. Okay, and inside here, what will happen is, go to this import data function. You see from where we are writing the code to check for the CSV error. So this is the output, of course. Okay, so what I want to do is, I just want to first copy block by block. Okay, so that I don't want confusions. So from here we will take the code. If not model, we'll raise this model not found error. Just cut this. Okay, paste it here and make sure the indentation is correct. All right. Okay, so we need more code now. We'll go back to the import data. So we also need this one. Okay, this will get all the model fields. I just want to cut this and I'll put this here. Just indent it properly. All right, and I still need more code from here. So this is actually, we are opening this file and we are reading this CSV header, right? So I will actually cut this as well. Just put it here, and the indentation. Okay, indentation is proper, and okay, so let this code be like this now. Okay, don't go to touch anything in this import data.py. I'll show you how exactly to handle these things. Okay, so we are actually refactoring the code so that this command, or this import data command should work in the terminal as well as in the form. Okay, so that is why. Okay, so here we are checking the model, and for the command error, let's quickly import this command error from this Django core.management.base import command error. We don't need the base command here. Okay, so this error has gone, and import CSV. Okay, simply import CSV inside this utils.py. All right, so here we are searching for the model across the installed apps, and if there is no model, we are raising an error, and then we are getting all the field names of the model. Okay, we are getting all the field names. So in this case, what we want to do here, we just want to open the file and compare the CSV header with the model fields. Okay, so in this utils.py, in the check CSV errors function. Okay, so once this is done, we actually need to put this with statement inside a try block. Okay, because if there is any error, just want to raise an error. Okay, so try block, inside a try block, select all these things, just hit tab. Okay, so it will go inside the try block, and then just say exception as E, and then raise. Let's raise an error with this str function, which is E. Okay, so data error will import from django.db. All right, so this is done, and now see what we are doing. We are actually checking if a CSV header is not equal to model fields, then raise this one. Okay, so all right, now this should work. Okay, and what about this import data? So in the import data, we just want to call this function. Okay, check CSV errors with this file path and the model name. Just copy this and go to import data.py, and after this model, okay, after this model name, just say check CSV errors. Okay, so this function means we are running this same code here as well. Okay, in this handle function as well. First, let's import from data entry.utils check CSV errors. Okay, now again we will open the file with open file path, comma, in the read mode as CSV file, or as file. Okay, what we have written here as file, right? So let's use that file only. File reader is equal to csv.dict reader, then we'll pass this file. Okay, and then we'll run the for loop. Okay, so this will actually create the records or import the data, and this model we are getting the warning, right? So from where we are getting this model, if you look at this utils.py, here we are actually getting the model. Okay, in this check CSV error we are getting the model. Okay, so this model, if you want to access inside this import data.py, then what you have to do after raising an error. Okay, so this means if there is no error, we can simply return the model. If there is no error, okay, so if we get the error, we'll definitely your code will stop here. Okay, if there is no error, we are returning the model. Okay, we are returning the model, and that model we can take here. Okay, so just say if you return this model, then you can say model is equal to check CSV errors. Okay, now the error has gone. Correct? Okay, now a handle function has become smaller now. You see, it is very readable, and if you just want to go to this check CSV imports, you can simply press Ctrl and click. Okay, when you press Ctrl, this will be highlighted as an anchor tag, something like that. Okay, so just click and you go to this function, check CSV error. So here we are actually checking for the errors, and if there is no error, we are returning the model. Okay, so that by returning the model, we can run this code. Okay, so next in the views, we have to check for the errors here, right? In the views also, we have to check for the errors, right? So that's why simply copy this one. You check for the errors and you have to import this from .utils, import check CSV errors. Okay, so just import this. Okay, make sure this function is imported from this utils. Okay, and what else? Okay, so check for the errors. If there is error, okay, we also want to check this one. Okay, otherwise we cannot raise an error in the front end, right? So I'll put that in the try block. Okay, if this check CSV error returns any error, okay, it is returning error somewhere here, right? It is raising the error, right? If this is raising the error, we are catching that error here, okay, in the try block. If this try block fails, that means if it returns any errors, then we are we are catching this error inside this except block. Except exception as E, we will say messages dot error. Messages dot error will first pass a request, comma, str of E. Okay, we'll convert whatever error that is coming from the check CSV errors will be converted to str and it will show as a message. Okay, so once this is done, if this try block passed, then we will handle the import data task to the Celery. Okay, if this try block fails, okay, if this check CSV error fails, then your code is going to run this error message. Okay, so once you give the error message, simply return redirect to import data. Import underscore data. Okay, so this is your URL name. All right, and import data task dot delay. Once this is done, then we are showing the message the data is being imported. You will be notified once it is done. Okay, so just make sure everything is proper. Okay, so I will once again take you through the code what we are doing. Let me go to the form. Okay, so the first thing, we are taking the CSV file and the table name from here, and then before we trigger the call command, we first want to check if there is any error in this CSV file, or the error that we are checking is whether the CSV header is matching with the table fields, right? If there is any error, we are not going to trigger the call command, we just show him an error. Okay, so if there is no error, so that error checking is done from this helper function. Okay, now if there is no error, you see this, if there is no error, then we are handling the import data task to the Celery. Okay, so if there is error, then of course from here we are going to handle, and the task is this one. Okay, so the import data will be this one now. So this is checking the CSV errors, and if there is no error, then we are going to create the record. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. I will stop this Celery now and I'll run it again. Okay, so let's see if we get any expected output or any different unexpected output. Let's refresh, and I'll first try to raise the error. I'll put this employee data into student table. Okay, we should get the error. Okay, so exception must derive from base exception. If we got the error, but there must be something wrong, because somewhere we are not raising the error properly. In the utils, okay, so instead of saying raise str, I'll simply say E. Okay, so let's see. if that works. If that doesn't work, we'll try another approach. Okay, you see, CSV file doesn't match with the student table. All right, so that means your code just returned the error here. Okay, so it just showed you this message. Okay, now let's run this again, and I'll try to run the same student data. We have 406, and I'll run this student data and student table import. Okay, your data is being imported, and let's refresh, and you can see 456. It was 406 now. Okay, so I'll again try to run one big data, employee 100k. Okay, so this is actually going to take a little bit of time, but if you notice from here on the front end, this is not going to take any time. You just put this to correct table, employee table, import data. Okay, now you can see your data is being imported, but look at Celery, it is still handling. Okay, it has received it. Okay, it is still processing the data. Okay, so once it is done, it will show you data imported successfully. Let's wait for that. Let's see how many seconds it is going to take. So the data is importing in the background. Okay, you see, succeeded in 38 seconds. Okay, it took 38 seconds to import the data. All right. So yeah, that's about how you can import the data. Okay, so import the data from the background. All right. So from the command line also, it is going to work the same way. Okay. So if you have any doubts with regards to this video, just feel free to let me know, because I know this video has been so long, and I also know that this was a little bit confusing thing also, because we were handling 4 files: views.py, utils.py, import data.py, task.py. Okay, so if you need more clarification, just let me know. I'll create one blog about this. Okay, so if anybody want to know more about this, how 4 files can be worked together. Okay, so that's about it, and we'll try to do the same thing with the export data command in the next one.